Hello everyone, we're going to do an update here on, I'm going to do, in this video, I'm going to go out of order. I'm going to talk about threat number 3 first, because I've been looking at the models for the last 30 minutes, and I think I noticed what's different about them, and how that could play a role in who gets snow and who doesn't for next week. And then the next video, we'll talk about the current snowstorm going on across the upper Midwest and portions of the upper plain states. And then the second threat, which comes this weekend, that'll be the next video, which will probably be a little bit later. Alright, but this, so we're going to talk about what I think could be a pretty big snowstorm if the European model is correct for next week along all of New England here and into northern portions of the Mid-Atlantic. And possibly it could be more of a coastal storm if the European model is correct. The other models are showing something a little bit different, which would probably be more of a miss for the northern areas. Well, actually, no. The American model actually does kind of support something that would bring snow up here, but it just wouldn't be as strong as what the European model is suggesting. So, here, we're looking at our wind map. This is the Canadian model. So, we'll start with the Canadian model. This is a piece of energy that's coming through this weekend. This is the weekend storm. Look at how far south that is. This is actually farther south than they were trending before, so I'm beginning to wonder if you could get some snow up into northern New England. We'll have to watch that. Might not be cold enough though. So this is going to move off of the coast here, and what this? All right, so this is going to move off, and what that's going to do is you see. I'm sorry, I'm moving around so much. This is going to move off. You see what's behind this here? You have high pressure. What does that mean? That means there's an Arctic air mass setting up behind this. So as this moves off the coast, you're going to get a shot of Arctic air coming into the portions of the Midwest and the Northeast here. So this is going to move off. I'm sorry, I went too far. This is where we were, okay? That's going to move off, and then you have another piece of energy coming in over here. This is into Monday now. This trough digs far enough south where I think this is going to be a miss. This would, if this were to be a storm, it would be in the Monday time, Sunday night into Monday time period. This is a completely different from the real threat that I'm looking at, and you have high pressure building in back here, so this trough is going to get shoved south, and anything that forms is just going to be pushed out to sea by the Arctic air mass here. So this is going to form a storm though along the boundary between warm and cold air. There's your storm forming out over the ocean here. Now what happens is that's going to see it kind of just swings on through and then just moves out. The southern part of it's where the storm is, because that's where the boundary is setting up here, and then it stays to the south, and it doesn't even really form until you're off the coast. So again, that's going to be a miss. That's Sunday night into Monday. Now again, that could change, but I don't think you need to be worried about this system here. You have high pressure building in, so you see this, you have an Arctic air mass back in here. So now we're going to go to our air mass temp map so I can show you. This is the American model over here that we're looking at. So this is your boundary in here. Back here is all your cold air. Here's your weekend system moving up. It's gonna help to usher in that Arctic air mass. Okay, there you go. So now all that cold air is going to move in across the northern sections and even into the Mid-Atlantic. Alright, and now we're into to Monday morning, so we are immersed in that cold air now. So upper Midwest, northern New England, well all of New England, excuse me, portion of the Mid-Atlantic, you are immersed. Then what happens, that's going to stick around, and then it's going to stick around for quite a while, most of the week actually. Then you have another storm coming from the west, and look at that. As that moves east, this is the GFS here. We're going to look at the wind map on the GFS too, but look at this. This is actually your threat right here. Alright, and now what's going to happen is that's going to move east. And look at that. Look at to the north of it, it's all cold air. This is all going to be snow. This is not going to be rain. This is all going to be snow. This needs to come a little bit further north though, I would think, just so that New England gets brushed by it. But you can see how it's gonna be cold enough for snow if that solution is right. So that's the American. We're gonna get back to that wind map in a little while, but going back to the Canadian, this is the Monday thing that's moving off. Now you have additional energy coming in back here. All of this back in here. This is gonna be your threat number 3 for Tuesday into Wednesday, most likely. This gets a little convoluted, actually. There's a lot of pieces of energy coming in here. There's going to be different areas of low pressure developing. It's kind of convoluted. The European kind of simplifies it a little bit. But here we go. So this is going to move east now. This piece of energy right here. Then you're going to get a storm to form down here along the boundary between cold and warm air. Alright, that's going to move off now. You see this little circle developing? That is an area of low pressure. It's not strong yet. And then bam, that disturbance moves off. And look at how strong that is. Now this trough did not dig far south, so that's why it moves due east. It did not dig far enough south. If it dug farther south, dug farther south, and there was a more potent dip in the jet stream here and the wind flow, this would have come up the coast like that, but rather it moves due east. Now, I can actually show you the difference now between the European model and the other two models, the American and the Canadian. The difference is, you see this piece of energy right here, and you see this piece of energy right here. The European has these two pieces of energy consolidated. At least that's how I interpret it. To me, it looks like that the European brings these two a lot closer together, and they're more consolidated. So rather than have two storms, days apart, you have one big storm all together. That's what I'm seeing with the European, and it tracks up the coast, not due east. But what the Canadian is showing, this would be a separate storm, and you would have low pressure developing down in here. So as this moves east now, you see all this isobar. You see all this isobar action in here. That's another area of low pressure. That's Wednesday night into Thursday. So this is confusing here because you have so many different pieces of energy, and this is pretty potent here. I don't really know. I don't think this is going to be the solution that happens. I really don't think that looks like it's going to be it. So again, this is one storm that would be Tuesday into Wednesday, Wednesday into Thursday. That's what the Canadian and the GFS are kind of suggesting. And that would be two weaker storms, not one big storm. And this would still be snow. It would not be rain because you have Arctic air on both sides. Now, let's look at the American model, and I can show you here. Here we go. Let's go to, this is Monday. So here's that big Monday storm I was talking about. That's going to be moving out, won't affect us. Then, you have these two pieces of energy. This is the first piece of energy, and then back in here you have another piece of energy. And they're not consolidated, so there's going to be two separate areas of low pressure. Okay? So then these are going to move. This one is going to dig south, so that area of low pressure stays off. This one also digs south behind it, but not far enough south where it would do something like that. It stays up here, but it also brings the low down just south of New Jersey here. So what the GFS has is two separate storms. This one is going to stay to the south. This one is going to come south, and it's going to track right over the Delmarva. That's what the American model is showing. That's further south than the Canadian model. The Canadian model was going further north with both of these pieces of energy here. Okay, so let's take a look. So see, this is the southern portion. This is the northern portion. And then watch how this is going to dig south behind this. This is now going to start to track north and east, but out to sea. And then this is the second part that's going to form your storm here. And then watch that low pressure is going to track south and east. Okay, so now we're over here. You have Arctic air up here, Arctic air back here, so you're immersed in Arctic air. We have to go to the longer range now. So this is where we, I'm sorry, was this where we were? Yeah, this is where we were. So, this is your southern portion. This is the first piece of energy. This is the second piece of energy. And then watch what happens. Bam. That piece of energy moves out. Then you have this piece of energy, this low pressure here. I can't read that. That looks like 1,000 millibars, so it's not, incredibly strong, but it does strengthen as it moves off. Look at your precipitation map. There's precipitation starting to move in across Pennsylvania, portions of the Mid-Atlantic here, up into southern New England. That's going to continue to spread northward. And then there you go. So see, it makes it into southern New England and northern portion of the Mid-Atlantic here, and it strengthens again as it moves off. So this was your first piece of energy. That was your second piece. Your Canadian and American keeps them separated. European says, that's not how it's going to happen. And in my opinion, if the Canadian and American models are right, number one, it would be a much weaker event. It wouldn't be as strong. It would be something similar to what we just had go through the Mid-Atlantic yesterday. It would be something like that. You could probably get a 6 to 8 somewhere, but it won't be like a really big storm. Now let's look at the European, and this is the solution I love because it's perfect. It's like the perfect storm solution here. Okay, so here we go. This is your Monday thing here that we're looking at. That's not going to affect us. Then you have your piece of energy. That's the first piece. This is the second piece. So this is what the GFS was keeping this separated from that, and so is the Canadian. And now what's going to start to happen is the European consolidates this whole piece here. You're still going to have two areas of low pressure, but they'll be closer together. And that is what we call a Miller-B cyclone. You see, I saw this term in the forecast discussion from my National Weather Service a few weeks ago. A Miller-B cyclone is two different areas of low pressure, one onshore, one offshore. And that's sort of what the European is showing. That would be a pretty big storm. So here we go. So these two pieces of energy are going to consolidate. There you go. See? It's all together. There's no separation here. There is no separation. And you have your low pressure forming down here. So it's digging south. This is going to cause this high pressure over here. This is going to cause a dip in the jet stream. Whenever you have strong areas of high pressure forming, you always get a dip in the jet stream. So that is going to aid in this going like this, coming right up the coast. If it does, if the European is right and this comes right up the coast, big snowstorm. New England, northern portion of the Mid-Atlantic, maybe further south of that Arctic air. Look how far this high pressure is. That's pretty far south for cold air. You could be getting snow all the way back into Virginia again. And then as far north as Maine if it comes close enough to the coast. If the European is right. So then, unfortunately, in the longer range, this wind map I don't have anymore, so I can't really point out where this piece of energy is going to go. But this is where we were. Okay, this is the surface map here. This is your cold air mass. This is your disturbance coming in. This digs further south, and your storm's going to come up the coast. So here's your area of low pressure. Then the next model run, look at that. Look at this. One low pressure back here, one down here. Much like the other model, so there's still two pieces of energy, but they're closer together. They're more consolidated. So this is pretty much in itself one big coastal storm. And again, Arctic air mass back here, Arctic air mass leaving, cold air on either side. You might have to worry about some mixing along the coast if this solution is correct, but at night you will be getting heavy snow if this thing comes up at night. Like, this is Tuesday night right now. This would be heavy snow, very heavy snow. Look, this is a really strong storm. So if the European is correct, you would get a big snowstorm in this entire area here for March 25th to 26th, Tuesday into Wednesday, I believe. It would probably start early in the day on Tuesday. It would probably go throughout the day on Tuesday and then last into Tuesday night. Now, it depends on when the heaviest precipitation comes in, what P-type you're going to get. But I still think if it's cold enough, this is going to be something to watch for a potential big East Coast snowstorm next week. So that's my update. That's threat number 3. This is the one you need to watch all the way from Maine. I'm including Maine in this because if this comes up the coast, you're going to get crocked. All the way back, all of New England, all the way back, upper portions of the Midwest, and then all the way back down into southern Virginia, into northern portions of the Mid-Atlantic. That is my threat area for number 3, Long Island and New York City, where I am. You are included. We are not getting away from this one. We will not be missed, hopefully. All right, thanks.